Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. I'm here with the one and only Felicia, FDZ Graffiti,
What's up?
Dunson.
What's up? What's up?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, chilling in this nice wintry weather here in Columbus.
Yes, yes. So we're in Columbus. We were in Miami last week, though, at Art Basel.
Yeah.
Was that your first one?
No, that wasn't my first one. Actually, the first one I went to was when you were there.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
true. Yeah, it was
what year
like
was that?
2022, I'm thinking.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. This was my second
Okay.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this one was a totally different experience for
Yeah.
sure.
Because you went this time with your art, and also you're doing a large mural in Miami as well. Why don't
Yeah.
you tell folks what you're doing?
So I was hired by the developers of Madeira Mill Creek to paint a 15,000 square foot mural.
How
It's
many
in
stories up?
7 stories high, and it's twice as wide as it is tall. So it's a rectangle. So 90 feet high, 200 feet wide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that your first time doing something that big, or
Yes,
yeah?
definitely. I feel like that square footage is probably like all of the murals I've ever done combined.
Wow.
Square, like footage wise, just scale on a scale. Yeah, this is the biggest thing I've done yet, for sure.
And for folks who aren't familiar, maybe we could give them a little bit of, history in terms of like initial art, what type of, um, platforms do you like to create? Some folks know you from DEADCANZ,
Hmm.
which is essentially Felicia would take the spray paint cans and turn them into different,
Yeah,
caricatures.
just like bringing them to life. So, a little bit about me. I think I have like as a local artist, I've been through a lot of the same paths, like transit arts, recreation and parks, J Ashburn, Columbus City Schools. I went to Fort Hayes. I went to CCAD. So I'm kind of tapped in and plugged into a lot of the local incubations for artists. So things that I've come through and then turned around and been able to have the opportunity to like give back as a mentor, as an educator. But bringing that back to like currently what I'm doing. So like with the Dead Cans, um, I like to bring elements of eco-friendly practices, upcycling, because essentially my thing is like, graffiti is not a crime. It's really an art form that beautifies things, like things that are forgotten or broken, things that people wouldn't care about, things that would essentially be useless or like a waste,
Hmm.
fashion waste. So I do like upcycle fashion with the cans. I'm recycling the spray paint cans that I use in my mural projects and then turning them into artwork, something that would normally be a piece of trash and a hazardous piece of trash because most people don't dispose of paint properly. So just using that as an extension in my effort to continue to bring graffiti into a contemporary space. I feel like there are other people who have already been doing that, like Banksy. Everybody knows about Banksy, but at the same time, um, very often when I tell people that I'm a graffiti artist, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Isn't that illegal?" Like, no,
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
it's vandalism is illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that I think every artist, like the community that they're from, I think that's like really important in terms of like how the community embraces you, and uh, how that leads to other things.
Mhm.
How has that been for you in Columbus?
Um, well, again, having had amazing mentors, um, there were adults who had seen, they saw potential in me, they saw talent in me, and then them giving me the opportunity to, exercise that talent, or, to even have a job. Like my first job, I was a graphic designer when I was 13, silk screening like t-shirts, and being able to do that at such a young age, really, it solidifies that within me.
Hmm.
It solidified that in me. Um, Also meeting Amina Robinson,
Yeah.
Amina
Rest in
Robinson.
peace.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, look up Amina Robinson if you guys don't know Amina Lynn Robinson. Um, Phenomenal artist. Her art was about the community. It was about the neighborhoods that I lived in, and so to see myself in her art, and then to meet her in person, and her being a Black woman artist that's from my neighborhood that looks like me, um, and then she did a workshop at my school and she complimented my work. That was also like the spark that lit the flame.
Yeah.
And I did you know that about the exhibit at the King Arts Complex?
I do, but I've never been, unfortunately.
Okay, so there's a section where there's a permanent installation there that I got to be a part of, where I got to actually portray Amina Robinson.
Wow.
And I also did the makeup, so there's like when the credits roll, my name's in there twice because I am portraying Amina and I did the makeup for everybody as well. So as far as that goes, to answer the question about like inclusion and community, I've really been blessed to have the opportunity to be mentored, and then also to have the opportunity to turn around and give back.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on too, because I think that's a story that you don't hear sometimes, or I guess sometimes people are quick to say that it's hard in Columbus. I had to leave. I don't get any support, so I think it's good to highlight the people that have received that support, and also you're pouring into the next
Right.
generation as well.
Yeah.
That's good. So like with but maybe we could go into, because you've been traveling since the pandemic,
Yeah.
like how, from a creative standpoint, how has that really helped your art?
You mean sort of like the traveling aspect or the pandemic?
But let's do both. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do what happened first. Were you traveling before the pandemic, or because before I feel like I was not traveling enough before the pandemic.
Yeah.
After it's a different story,
Oh
but
yeah, for sure.
yeah. What about
Definitely,
you?
definitely. I think sometimes disruption actually activates like new avenues. So I would say, though, I was working as a visual artist, painting on canvases and painting on a large scale. The pandemic really was this really weird phenomenon where, as the world was like spiraling, I was actually on the rise. Like the opportunities that I got because of the pandemic really led me to be in the position that I'm in now, painting in a large
Hmm.
scale. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
like that.
yeah,
I think that, to me, well, from what I saw, I think a lot of people that were doing really the work. I think the pandemic, when the world stopped, a lot of those people got the spotlight that they deserve. That's
yeah.
how I looked at it. Um, so that's good that you received that. And like, so what was that like? 2021, 2022? Were you moving around? What?
So the way it all started actually was at Mad Lab. Do you know where Mad Lab
I
is?
do. I
All right.
was there a month ago for a
Okay.
show. Yeah.
So I got an opportunity to paint the stage at Mad Lab,
Oh, cool.
and it was a friend of mine. Shout out to Alana Rex.
Oh, I know Alana.
Yeah,
What's up, Alana? Yeah,
Alana.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Shout
like
out to Alana. Yeah.
she's the only Black girl I've ever seen on stilts.
Period. We
Period. And
need to
she's an
have her on.
artist, and she's a model. Like, yeah, she's one of my unicorn sisters for sure.
Yes.
So she suggested that I do this mural, and it wasn't paid, right? But this is where I always say, like, the greatest opportunities are not. It's not always a financial opportunity.
Yeah.
It could be an education opportunity, an opportunity to give. You can have a huge opportunity to give something valuable. And so I painted the stage. What was really cool is that I got to work with like light reactive paint.
Okay.
So as the scene changed, the painting itself would change to reflect what was happening in the scene.
Wow.
I'd have to show it to you to like explain it, but that was a very unique opportunity. And it was fun, like, while they were rehearsing and the lighting guys are there, I'm literally painting the stage while they're switching up the lighting. So because you can't see if you're using like glow paint or black light paint or something like that, you can't really see like the clean lines unless you're actually painting in that light,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that opportunity led to more opportunities. The thing that was interesting is I think they only got one show in before everything shut down.
Wow.
So there was only, and I think there were supposed to be like 6. It was like between 4 and 6 shows, and they only got one in. So I only got to see the full thing in rehearsal because I didn't come to the first show.
Yeah.
And then it shut down. And so I had a lot of opportunities lined up that month. I was supposed to do Raw Artists in San Juan. I actually got cast to be in a commercial. It was like a social media campaign with Nicki Minaj for Fendi.
Wow.
They,
Shout out to
they
Fendi.
they sent me a rider and everything like that. That month was supposed to be huge,
Yeah.
but then the pandemic shut it down, and it's like,
Wow.
so that disruption though catapulted these other opportunities, and then from that mural came it was a mural I did at a brewery, and then as these small businesses were getting the funds and the opportunity to renovate their businesses, they were hiring artists like me to come and do murals. So I would do like fitness gyms, I did man caves, I did barber shops, I did, and it was just like one would lead to another, lead to another, lead to another. At that time, I was a part of Creative Women of Color,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a show at GCAC, Greater Columbus Arts Council. Shout out to GCAC.
Yeah.
Um, did a showcase there, and that is when PBS saw the DEADCANZ,
Got it.
and that led to me being put on the Broad and High art series.
Yep.
Shout out to Broad and High, and all the other artists that get to be a part of that. And so that being on this show for a whole season led to a lot of other opportunities. So like I'm getting castings from like the Food Network. They wanted me to be on Extreme Pumpkins, and
Wow.
so that led to all this other stuff. And then that led to this podcast where I was on Art of Ed, which is like a very popular YouTube and social media platform for art teachers.
Okay.
So then I started getting opportunities to tour and visit other schools. But I tell you what was like really like mind blowing is when I would get these emails from teachers in Utah or in Florida or somewhere else where they did a project based on me,
Yeah.
and their kids are like they're doing the DEADCANZ. That was the thing that really like took off,
No, that's inspiring.
because I think it was necessary for this generation of kids to have some enlightenment and some positive exposure to something that was everywhere. That's all there was writing on the walls. It was positive and it was negative, and it's kind of like you need to approach that. You need to explain to these kids. You have to teach them about spray paint. You have to teach them about what is graffiti, and how you can use this in a way that's positive because they're seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
So that really, in a nutshell, it was sort of like the cataclysm that really like amplified the career path that I'm on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. In terms of just like staying right there with when you're talking to kids, and like what are you noticing with different like maybe artists, or because I think one thing that's unique from you is you try different things out,
Mm-hmm.
and there, but like I think a lot of people, they have like the sense of like things should be a certain type of way, or like a certain perfectionism type of way.
Mm-hmm.
But does that, how, I think, like how, with you just being able to try different things out, how has that really helped your career as opposed to, only doing one thing, and
That's a really interesting. That's an interesting point because I don't think that is something that I'm doing necessarily like strategically or intentionally. It's just, if you know my background, like I went to school for fashion,
Mm,
even though what I do is fashionable, people wouldn't recognize it as that because people don't like tie those things together, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, and so I think the variety for me is something that is necessary, because if everything is like rigorous and very calculated and very like in a box, that just doesn't flow with me. It just doesn't. And so I had to kind of like escape that, because after art school, the artwork that I was creating was very much so like I was still doing the assignments, essentially. Like I'm painting like I'm trying to get an A,
yeah,
and when I wasn't receiving like the attention or the sales or just sort of like the satisfaction that I was hoping to receive, the reception of the work, uh, I was really frustrated.
mm-hmm,
Like, man, I spent so much time doing this oil painting that's like realistic, and people just aren't really like excited about it or into it, right?
yeah,
So then I adopted the motto from Andy Warhol, that art is whatever you can get away with. And so I started being messy, right? And that created the I don't know how to explain it. Like it was like the freestyle. Like a
mm,
lot of what I do is it's a freestyle art, and I think that's really essentially like that's the hip hop of what I'm doing.
mm-hmm,
That's the hip hop culture of what I'm doing, is that it's freestyle. And so I say I make a mess and then I make it beautiful. But then at the same time, it's like what I'm exercising in that application are all of those fundamentals. It is a color concept. It is composition. It is, you know, uh, mixing textures, but doing that random organization. I don't really know how to get people into my head with
yeah,
that with
yeah.
that with that process, but it's a part of my process. Like,
Is there a
yeah.
feeling that you want people to take away with every single piece that they see from you?
I really want to create like delight,
Mm,
and I think I do that with color. Like it creates a vibe, it creates an energy. There are certain colors that I don't use, that I don't really work with, because I have a tendency to kind of like manifest through the material that I'm using. Like, for example, if I'm using charcoal, the art is literally going to be dark.
yeah,
the
yeah,
the subjectry is going to be dark. It's going to feel like something's been set on fire, and um, just have that. It's just dark. I don't know how to, and I don't really, even though I've done some amazing graphite pieces, and illustrating it and things like that. It just, what really comes from me, like the expression I want to continue to manifest, is the brighter side of things. And so that's really what I want people to take away from it. I want them to also experience like the nostalgia. I noticed that uh, that's one of the first things that people recognize with the fashion and also like the abstract pieces, that it takes them to an era, and they're like, wow,
yeah,
this reminds me of Ninja Turtles. This reminds me of the 80s. This
yeah.
reminds me of, yeah. And so I think what it is like, I want people to be able to kind of like tap back into their childhood.
So you made about a couple years ago. I remember seeing you at uh, a pop up shop that you did, and I love this. Like, so for folks who don't know, this is a Carhartt, but Felicia put her touch on it. What inspired you for this piece? And
So, like I was mentioning earlier, like there's the element of upcycling. So, one of our issues that we have in the world is like cheap fashion, and just like this waste of clothing, right? So that piece is a vintage jacket, and then I bring it back to life with throwing paint on it, to be quite frank. But it gives it a whole new life, a whole new energy. And even the paint that I'm using on the jacket is like probably from a project that I was also working on.
wow,
Yeah. So the like, and I didn't mention this earlier, but um the concept of painting clothes like this came from when I was just going to like a corner store. I was working in my art studio. I had my paint clothes on, and I went into this corner store just like buy a drink or something like that. And the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, your outfit is so dope. That's customized." And I'm like, "Nah, I just paint in this." And he's like, "Look, I will give you my clothes. Can you just paint on them and get?" And so that was really like the initial thing where it's like, okay, well, people want to be a part of that experience. So it's like if they could get into your clothes, like the things that we would probably just throw away, like people want that, you know.
Yeah.
So this is it makes it even more unique because even if I had three of those jackets, none of them would be the same because the paint is going to be its own pattern. It's just how does the paint fly? How does it
Yeah.
land? You know, so that is like a one of one and
Yeah,
the
I
only
love
one.
those custom pieces. I'm wearing one as well. Frantic Fabrics, local Columbus fashion designer. Do you plan on making more fashion? Do you see that in your future? Or
Oh, absolutely. It's just my again, my thing is like not creating waste.
yeah,
So what I really like to do is to do those pieces as like one of ones, unique. I love doing commissions, or if I'm doing like a specific show. But being that I'm like a traveling artist right now, I think like that's just going to be another chapter that's like very intentional. I still have like a lot of custom pieces that I wear myself, or I showcase them occasionally. Right now, I like it being like as unique as it is because I'm still staying true to the economic minimalist factor of things.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but that piece now, I don't know if you know this. That piece was actually in Columbus Fashion Week.
Okay,
That was in Passport to Fashion. I
got it.
opened. I
Shout out
opened.
to Tommy McClure.
Shout out.
Yeah,
Passport to Fashion is held at 400 West Ridge Street,
got it.
and in that particular show, I had a couple artists. Um, it was all friends and family, so all of the fashion models in my shows are people I know personally. So like my family members, other artists that I know. Robot Geek actually wore that. B1 was also in that show,
Shout out
and
to B1. Yeah,
right,
I was
yeah,
just at a show with
Robot
him.
Geek,
Yeah.
B1. Um, oh my God, who else was in there? TK Mega Crew,
Wow.
and oh my God, I can't remember his name. It was my next door neighbor. Is from Venezuela at the time, and he's like famous TikTok, but like in the Latino community, he's huge. So he was also in that show. Um, so yeah, that's like also a unique element where it's like you wouldn't know from the outside, but from the inside, you know that there's
Yeah,
like more layers of also kind of upcycling my relationships in a
yeah,
way, you know?
yeah. Well, I love that community that you build in Columbus and now just really expanding over the world. I can't wait to see this Miami piece. You know,
Yeah.
when it's all said and done. Um, just for folks who this is the first time seeing you, tell us where we could find you, where we could stay up to date with everything that you're doing.
So you guys can find me on all platforms at FDZ Graffiti. So that's fdzgraffiti.com, fdzgraffiti.art, TikTok, uh, X, because I guess Twitter's not a thing anymore,
Yeah, Substack.
Instagram, Substack.
Yeah,
Make sure if you guys go to the Instagram, you can subscribe to the Substack, which my man Manny right here is producing for me. That's also going to walk you back. We're going back into art pieces and things I've done in the past and what's happening in the future. So that's also really cool thing to follow as well. And then with that membership, I'm also going to be tying that into like exclusive events. There's going to be giveaways and things like that as we grow that audience. But
Mhm.
yeah, follow me, FDZ Graffiti. Graffiti is spelled with two F's and one T.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, artists. If you're watching, FDZ is someone definitely a wealth of knowledge, information. She's super resourceful. So make sure you follow her and stay connected. Thank you for coming.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.